This year she's going to do something slightly different. Some shortbread and Earl Grey tea ice cream, which I cannot wait. So, Katie, welcome to Sale.
Well, thank you, Laura, and thank you, Harinder, because we really do actually have a tea link here. So I'm really pleased that you made your tea. So I'm Katie, and then this is my associate Aisha. You can tell that she's my daughter. If you can't hear us, just yell out. We've got the computer on the cat tree, but the kitten is also on the cat tree. So if you wobble around, you'll know why. So basically, we are doing our Great British Baking Show. So Aisha's got the technical challenge, and I've got the showstopper. So I'm going to be doing Earl Grey tea ice cream. And Aisha, what are you going to be doing?
Shortbread, apparently.
So luckily, you'll be thinking, thank God, at least I know what shortbread is. You have had shortbread before, haven't
Well,
you?
you make shortbread. I like it.
Okay,
Tasty.
so we know what shortbread is, and you can buy it here. So, but this is a really easy recipe, and it's delicious. By the way, do you know where shortbread comes from?
Isn't it usually Scottish?
Scotland, yes. So shortbread comes from Scotland. And Aisha, can you tell us some of the little hints it says at the bottom of your recipe?
Oh, the note. Okay.
The note.
Traditional Scottish shortbread molds are made with a thistle design in the centre. These can be bought at cook shops, but not essential. An ordinary sandwich tin will do the job just as well. What's a sandwich tin?
Well, I think it's
Be
this.
sure to use high quality butter. The flavour of shortbread relies heavily on the butter in the mixture, and margarine is no substitute.
Brilliant. Okay, so you're supposed to use a Scottish shortbread mold that has a thistle on it, but we don't have that. And we need to use really good butter, which I actually still have in the fridge here. And I'll show you my really good butter.
Do I get to start?
You may start, Aisha.
Do I have a time or?
Yes. So we're going to use this Irish butter. So don't tell the Scottish that we're going to use Irish butter, but this is really good butter. You really need the best. Oops, it's upside down. You really need the best kind of butter to make this lovely shortbread. And it's really good if you make it with gluten-free flour. So, you know, if you're gluten-free, this is something that actually works really well. It's delicious. So Aisha's going to be doing that. Do you want to tell us what you're doing, Aisha?
I am measuring out 150 grams of flour.
Which is how many ounces?
No clue.
Doesn't it say?
Well, if I press okay, 5.3 ounces.
5 ounces. So she wants 5 ounces of flour. And actually in the chat, I put the recipe and it's got the cups. I think that's like about a cup of flour. So we always weigh things out. So you can see that she's weighing things out over there. So tea. This is the important bit. Oh gosh, you're wobbling because of the kitten. Let me show you him. Here he is. Oh, he's really helpful when you're cooking. So because I'm making Earl Grey tea ice cream, I'm going to have to make my tea first. So I'm afraid I have a really boring way of making tea. Let me show you. So yeah, I just basically plug it in. Let me unplug. Let me unplug this. Plug this. Sorry, I'm trying to get some light for you. So I'm just going to basically put on my kettle. So all English people have a tea kettle like that. And then I'm also going to be really boring and just use a tea bag. So this is my Earl Grey tea. I mean, obviously it's nice if you have it, you can make a pot, but I actually only found it in tea bags. So I'm going to make myself a nice strong cup of Earl Grey tea. And then when I've done that, I'm going to pop it in the fridge to cool off. So then the thing that I need to do next is to make my egg yolk. So I've just got to separate my eggs out and make my egg yolks. And then I'm going to mix them with my sugar and make a custard. So that's always the beginning bit for starting any ice cream. And I did get an ice cream maker. You can use rock salt. There's, you know, you can have rock salt and sort of roll it around, which is another pretty easy way of making ice cream. But I like making ice cream because you can make really unusual flavors. So Aisha, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip. Okay, so she's really traditional. Do you know what my favorite flavor of ice cream is?
Rhubarb.
Rhubarb and ginger. That is my favorite flavor of ice cream, but you can't buy it here. So that means that I have to basically make ice cream if I want to eat something really nice. So that's the kind of advantages that you can make really unusual flavors. You can't buy Earl Grey tea ice cream, but it's actually really nice. So I made some earlier. Our judges are coming around from next door. We have, hopefully, a couple and their little daughter will be coming around to test this at about 4:20. And we do have this already made because it's going to take us a little while, but not too long. So I'm just about to make my tea here. By the way, Aisha, how much tea do you drink in a day?
3, 4 mugs.
Only 3 or 4 mugs?
I think that's about usual.
Only 3 or 4 mugs? I swear she drinks more than that. I think I do too. I probably drink like 8 mugs of tea. We are always drinking tea. And Aisha, do your friends drink tea? No, it's, yeah, okay. So it's mainly British people who drink tea and Turkish people who really like tea. So we're great tea drinkers. I do have a friend who has twins the same age as Aisha, twin boys, and they are constantly drinking tea. They probably drink 20 cups of tea a day or something. They're always drinking tea. It's very, very sweet. So I am getting my egg yolks out. So Aisha, what exactly are you doing at this point?
Apparently I'm kneading
Maybe show people.
in the butter.
You're kneading in you're rubbing in the butter.
But it's in one piece, and that's
So you're
weird.
supposed to be rubbing it in, yeah?
But it said keep it in one.
No, you're supposed to be rubbing it in. You just don't want to cut it up. Can people see you, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's there. She's using her hands, and she's just rubbing with her fingertips like that. And she's just, doing the usual rubbing in. Many people will use pastry forks or no, pastry knives or cutters, but we don't know how to use those. This is, you could just do it with your hands. So she's going to make all the flour and the butter like just be rubbed in together. And so you've got flour in there, butter, and anything else. Sugar, just a little bit.
50 grams of sugar.
Yeah, just a little bit of sugar. Yeah, so not much sugar. And that's basically it. It has to be the simplest recipe in the world. And it comes out so well. And I actually like it because when I serve tea to people, in the summer, I like to serve tea outside. But we have a lot of yellow jackets. And yellow jackets really don't like shortbread. So that's why I make shortbread to serve to people, because we're not going to get pestered by yellow jackets. We can have our tea, we can have our shortbread. It all works really well. So I'm getting my egg yolks together. And then I have got to start to make my custard. So Aisha, you did this last time, didn't you, make a custard?
It was a bit weird.
So I'm just going to make basically egg yolk, sugar, and milk is going to be my custard. I'm going to warm it up. It's going to thicken just a little bit, and then that's the basis for any ice cream recipe. So I'll put that there. Right, put that away. So mixing up my egg yolks and my sugar here. Aisha, has your butter rubbed in yet completely?
Not quite.
Not quite. So I wonder what the Scottish would think if we say, yeah, we're making your Scottish shortbread with Irish butter. They probably wouldn't mind too much. So I've got just 300 mils of milk here, just regular milk. And then this is going to go into my bowl. And then there is an option that you could like sieve this back in case there's any sort of lumpy bits, but I don't really bother with that. I'm just lazy. It seems to come out really well without having to sieve this. So then this is the kind of the boring bit, is that I have to sit here and just wait for this to slowly cook. I'm going to put it on high to begin with, but then I'm going to turn it down because I don't want this to boil. That is number one thing that cannot happen, is boiling, because then it'll curdle and not very nice. So Oh, Aisha, show people what you're doing. Come and put it here and show people what you're doing. You can see you. Can you tell us what you're doing there? You're looking very energetic.
Kneading this, I think.
So you rub your butter in really nicely, and then you're kneading it just so that it goes sort of nice and stretchy, just a little bit. Yeah. Sure. Stretchy. Yeah, just a little bit. I need a spoon. That's what I'm making here for a spoon. Okay, so you're kneading. And then, I mean, this is honestly a really nice way of, it's so quick. I mean, she's basically finished. The other thing you didn't do is you need to flour your tin before you put that in, by the way.
Okay.
So when you've done
That's
that.
good.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I mean, this is honestly the quickest recipe.
There we go. I mean, that was like 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes. You want a 10-minute cookie. We have the 10-minute cookie. And then it just takes 40 minutes in the oven. It's super easy. So now she's flouring her tin. Do you want to come and show us? Turn around and show us. Shake it a bit. Oh yeah, that's nice. Get it a bit around the edges. There we go. Shaking your tin. Then this is probably only enough to fill half of that tin. If you want more, you just double the recipe. But I made some earlier. So she's now going to press that to be about like half an inch, I guess.
Half an inch?
Yeah, and it's going to fill about half your tin there. And then when she's done that, she's going to prick it all over with a fork. In the meantime, I'm just stirring my custard, hoping that it warms up. So you want to make that nice and flat. So Aisha's going to go camping this evening, and she needs some shortbread. Is that right, Aisha?
This is to be ready.
Oh, but I have some already.
Oh,
The ones I've already made. Yes. So at this point, this is where you might have your thistle mold, but we don't have the thistle mold. But traditionally, you would then have these really beautiful patterns that would come out of your shortbread, and you'd flip them over, and they would have these lovely patterns. And then people would cut them into triangles. But we'll probably just cut ours into rectangles. Okay, so I'm going to now turn my custard down a bit. I can see that it's getting warm, and I don't want to burn it. Boil it. Lovely, yes. And now she's going to prick, nice little patterns all over with her fork. And what kind of things do you like cooking, Aisha?
I haven't cooked in ages. Usually I just bake things.
So desserts, yeah?
Yeah. Muffins, banana bread. I make very
Banana
good
bread,
banana bread.
muffins, what else?
Carrot cake sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Pie.
Pie, okay. I know she's made profiteroles at some point. She does like,
Ages.
oh, a lemon cake, lemon bars.
Lemon bars. Yeah, lemon bars are always a good one. So I can add.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of fun things that you can make, but how does this rank with some of the other things you've made in terms of easiness?
It's yeah, I'd say it's probably the easiest.
Okay, so this is super easy.
It's a lot easier than brownies because I always mess up brownies.
How can you mess up brownies?
Well, we never have the right ingredients, and then I always overbake them.
Oh, okay. Now this is great, and you put it in for 40 minutes and it doesn't go burnt or anything. It's just great. So I did put the oven on for 325. It says 300, but that's because it's on a conveyor. So 325 degrees, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, here we are.
Ta-da! So we're going to pop that in.
Square, that's fine.
This one is great.
Oh, time.
If you hold it down.
Then it comes too far.
Okay. So you need to go and read. Oh, I forgot about the sugar one. Never mind. I didn't read the ones that I've got on the table there. So I've actually laid out for English tea. And I don't know if you can see me stirring if I stir. Oh, yeah. So I've laid up English tea and the kitten is sitting on the tablecloth over there because I moved his cushion. You see?
Here we go. Cat on the table.
I'm sorry about the books. I haven't cleared the books. That's basically my office. So I'm hoping that our neighbours are going to come out any moment. And I'm going to, if they come round, they do have a 2-year-old. So, you know, that might be a bit iffy. But they're hoping to come round and just test the ice cream and test the shortbread that I've already made. So I'm still stirring this. This will take me a while, and I do need to stir it because I don't want it to stick on the bottom, and I definitely don't want it to boil. So that's what I'm looking at. And as I'm stirring, there's steam is coming off. So at some point, you can feel it going just a tiny bit thicker. I mean, it's very subtle. I mean, you can be doing it for ages, and be gone, nothing's happening. But it will just slightly thicken, actually. Then that's the point at which I'm going to take it out and cool it, and then I can add my 300 mils of cream. So I've got my 3 egg yolks, like 2 or so ounces of sugar. So that's like 1/3 of a cup of sugar. And I've got my 300 mils of milk in there. And then when this is cool, I put my 300 mils of cream in there, and then I add my cup of tea, which is steeping here. So I'm doing exactly what Harinda said. I'm trying to steep it for as long as I can, so I want it really strong. Oh, they're coming! Our judges are coming! Oh, this is exciting. So at this point, because mine is a bit boring, I think we might just have to go and see the finished product. Aisha, could you let them in for me? Okay, I'm going to turn that off because you know that's kind of doing. Yeah. Oh yes. Sorry. Patricia, oh, it's fine. So everybody, so this is Patricia and IFP, and they've come to test because this is our baking competition. See what we got. So those are our shortbread cookies. Oh, and Pan, of course, I'm sorry, Pan happens to be, that's his afternoon nap place. He's that.
He wants to be a tester as well, I guess.
He wants to test food. Right. So then I'm gonna get the ice cream. Oh, great tea ice.
Oh, that sounds
So you can
delicious.
sit down wherever you like. There's like Joey's old chair. Joey is now 21. I'll sit. Oh, and I was going to make a little bit of tea actually. It's a mild tea. I'll make a little swirl.
You all are so lucky to taste the samplers.
Well, help us on the shortbread. I've got some longer shortbreads and some shorter shortbreads. You can see I've got long ones and then short ones.
Is it yummy?
It is yummy. Would you like a little bit of ice cream then?
Want some ice cream?
Really yummy.
I think that she approves of the shortbread.
You approve of the shortbread, that's good. I think Pan approves of the ice cream. Mum would like some.
Yes.
I think I've got to test it too because I don't often have Earl Grey tea ice cream, but I thought that was a really good
Sounds delicious.
So it comes out this sort of, just slightly kind of golden color. Pan, I know that you're really into ice cream. Really. Maybe put you down because we don't need you eating. Oh dear.
Well, the ice cream is delicious.
The ice cream is good, isn't it? Mm. Oh, it is good. That's really good.
It is really good.
What do you think, Colette?
It's a pretty color too.
I love it. It's really unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, but just it's very subtle.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, but you could eat it honestly with anything, I think.
Yeah. It's not too
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh, so yummy. Really, really refreshing, actually.
Especially today.
So, Katie, I'm
Yeah.
curious, the shortbread, in your culture, do you dip it like a biscotti in your tea at all? Or
Sorry, I'm not sure I can hear you. Can you say that again?
do you dip the shortbread like biscotti into coffee? Can you hear?
I don't think I can hear you very well.
Oh, Katie, I think Laura's asking if you ever dip the shortbread into anything, like biscotti style.
You could dip it into your tea. You're right. Yes, yes, it's really important. Yeah, I basically grew up as a kid, and I would have a cup of black tea with milk in the morning, and then I'd have a little what we call a biscuit. It would be more like a cookie, but not like a sweet cookie, and not quite a shortbread, but something a bit like that. Just a sort of a much more plain kind of cookie, and you dip it in your tea. And it's really cool. And sometimes it falls off in your tea, and that's a bit weird.
The other questions we have here, we've got a lot of cat fans. People want to know if the cat is going to judge.
I have to say, I think he's really going to enjoy the ice cream bowls. Yeah, he does like licking things like ice cream bowls. And he also likes Calliope's house. Pan goes to visit
Yes,
you,
he comes over. We live next door, and he comes over and just walks in and says hello.
Yeah. So we had a big tea discussion in the chat, and people like many, many different kinds of tea. Would you say that black tea is kind of the predominant version?
Yeah, I mean, English people mostly drink black tea. I actually drink a lot of green tea. And I was about to make like a herbal tea. So just a second, I'll be very quick. Something that's not happening.
What was the rating for the shortbread and tea? Get a thumbs up.
Well, I think it's 2 thumbs up over here. But he has stopped eating long enough too.
Oh,
So what I've done with my kids always drank tea when they were little. This is actually their tea mug. Okay, so
Katy loves tea.
yeah. So we make sure it's not too hot, obviously. And then we'll give that to Mom. I just stick my finger in it. I hope that's okay. It's a sort of raspberry tea. Ooh. Kind of raspberry tea. It's a bit hot. This particular one here is hot, just to let you know. There we go. I'm just trying to be.
Katie, this was wonderful. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better. I can hear you.
Okay, I think I'm having an issue with my microphone, but this was fantastic. I was just going to see if there were any last questions and then let you all enjoy your feast.
Yeah.
Yara, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious, like, obviously how people take their tea in the States is quite a bit different than people take their tea over in Europe. And I was curious, like, in your case, how do you take your tea, and have you tried, like, if you take it with cream, have you tried, like, without cream, and if you like it?
So, I mean, the best thing to have with your tea, basically, is that, you would have your black tea with your milk, and then you would have a cream tea, which is a scone with a really, really thick cream on the top. So actually my favorite ice cream shop is where my parents live, and they put on top of your ice cream a big chunk of solid cream. There's a special kind of Devonshire cream that's actually solid. It's delicious. It's called clotted cream, and it's basically got a crust on it. It's totally solid, and they plop some of that on the top of your ice cream. But you can also have that with scones. So you have your scone, your jam, your clotted cream, and then your cup of black tea with milk. And that's completely delicious. But here, actually, I just have green tea, and I don't have it with milk. My husband still has the regular black tea with milk. So yeah, I've sort of moved on to things like green tea. We have dozens of teas in our cupboard. Honestly, so many different teas. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And the great thing is you can buy loads of different teas. So my daughter is about to go to college. So far, the only things that we have for her to go, and she's got to leave in like 2 weeks, are a tin of tea, and she's making a quilt. And this is like the priorities of her going to college. Is the tin of tea is already bought. Nothing else is set. But you've got to have the tin of tea. That's really important.
Oh, well, this has been such a treat, literally. So we all want to go eat ice cream and shortbread now. At least I
Yeah.
sure do.
Yeah, and then I will finish off the tea later. Sorry, the ice cream later. It just takes a bit longer, but I will finish it, mix it all up. Thank
Oh.
you so much, Lara.
Carson
Thank
has
you.
their hand up.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Bye, Katie.